I look at everything that's happening in podcasting, vlogging, personal brands on Instagram. You are really doing this. And my one massive piece of advice would be, step on the throat of this opportunity. Go harder. This is a moment in time. Like, listen, it ebbs and flows. I'm always gonna be a winner, and I've always won, but I've been through 3 cycles when it was better, right? Like I should have collected more emails and did more Google AdWords. That's how it got from 3 to 60. I was right, I should have went harder, right? YouTube, I was one of the first people on it. 4 months into YouTube, I should have went harder, right? Twitter, I went hard, I got my value. Like when you have your moment, I have my moment right now, I'm going hard. Like hard, like I've never worked harder. Like it's 6 a.m. to 1 in the morning. Like this is your moment. And somebody's gonna watch this, and I mean this whole thing that you're doing, and they're gonna do the same move. And they're gonna be cooler than a punter. I mean it. I mean it. Now, my intuition is they might not be more talented than you, right? Like at this. But this is a moment, bro, you're winning. You've got the hearts and minds of a lot of people. You've got real fucking magic inside of you. You just need to, like you should be a guest on every single top 100 podcast over the next 120 days.
I'm ready to run through a fucking wall right now.
I'm glad you had that idea because we had the same idea.
Yeah, he's got to go on a pub run.
Dude,
listen. Know who the fuck I am.
Listen, a lot do, but you need to go cross-pollinate. You resonate with everybody. This isn't the listen, this is my one man's point of view. This isn't the cliche thing that I think a lot of people are thinking, which is like, oh good, he's hit the whole middle America, Arkansas Rick demo. Dude, you're an authentic human being. You'll win with 41-year-old females, you'll win with 22-year-old Latinos in San Antonio. You'll just win. You need to go hack culture. What that means is you need more awareness and exposure, and not just a niche that comes to you, which means you gotta go work. You gotta go show up on shit. You need to go reach out to vlogs.
How the fuck do we get there though? Like we have no idea how to, the only way
I'll tell you.
Awesome.
Not only will I tell you, I'll let you take an employee or 2 from VaynerMedia to work for you. I'm being dead serious what I'm saying. And by the way, this is not me being Mother Teresa. I've got a problem. I'm creating so much talent at VaynerMedia that I can't feed them all. Like the company's just not gonna be big enough, and a lot of them are winners. And this is Barstool, the company, and you specifically, we mainly hire people that are into football. So I've got I've got kids that can absolutely bring you huge value, or you can figure it out yourself. You got a whole crew here. I don't care, just do it. What I'm really excited about, especially with such a young crowd, is thinking about the young entrepreneurs in here who I want to talk to. To me, the fact that you're even here, whether you wanted to be here or your parent dragged you out, is something I think a lot about. I think, I'm so grateful for entrepreneurship. One of the things about starting a YouTube channel and not having a lot of views, or trying to sell some slime and only selling 0, on your Shopify. One of the things that the kids in this room don't understand yet is that no and losing are their best friends. 100%. Unfortunately, and this is just the truth, kids in this room, you're growing up in a time where grown-ups want to stop you from feeling losses and pain more than ever, because truthfully, we've now lived through 70 years of prosperity, and our parents can actually spend time worrying about that stuff instead of putting food on the table. But not to get too heady here, for the kids in this room, the number one thing about starting a business or trying to build a profile is that you're gonna lose a lot. A lot of people are gonna leave comments that you stink, that you should stop, and you're not good. You're gonna try to sell something and nobody's gonna buy it. I think back to one story I never tell that I just got inspired to tell in this room, just remembered, was I actually sold stuff door to door a lot more as a kid than I remembered. I just thought about it the other day. I used to just find things in my house that might have not even been mine. And I used to just walk around Edison, New Jersey, ringing people's doorbells and asking them if they wanted to buy it. I was like, you want to buy this weird t-shirt or this pencil? And when you're selling ridiculous stuff that nobody wants, outside of the one person every 50 homes that just thought you were a cute kid and gave you $1, you just got a lot of no's. And one of the reasons I think so many people are struggling and are unhappy in their early 20s is we're coming into a place where people are hitting their 20s that were parented of a generation that tried to overprotect. And I think losing is awesome because you deserved it. It means somebody was better than you. And that's good for you to know because that's real life. That's how it's gonna be. And I think getting somebody to say no is awesome because that's real life. It doesn't mean you suck. It means what you tried to do right now didn't work. And I think that we have to have a much bigger conversation around that, and I'm happy a lot of you are listening to it right now because it's very real. Because I will tell you, kids, and parents for that matter, that I sit up here tonight extremely happy because I was losing so much and got so many no's as a kid. Because now that I'm a grown-up, it doesn't scare me. And unfortunately for a lot of grown-ups, it continues to scare them. They cared about what kids in high school thought about their dress. They cared about opinions, and they were overprotected, and it made them incapable. I really believe in the zoo animal thing. We go to the Central Park, Bronx Zoo right now and release those animals into their natural habitat, they're dead in 10 seconds. And I think we have to be very thoughtful for the parents in this room, especially who brought their kids tonight. You have to let them lose. No fake environments are destroying their actual confidence. It's true. It's the great disservice of parenting to eliminate merit and the truth from your kids. So I really like entrepreneurship for that. You know, my mom didn't micromanage, she let me live, which means the system said no to me a lot. I did a lot of card shows that I didn't do well on. I had a lot of bad things happen. You know, when I was 13, 40-year-old dudes were ripping me off, you know, because they just imposed their old man will on me and scared me. Like, all sorts of stuff happened, all of which allow me the great luxury to be in front of you tonight. So, really, ultimately, here's what I would say, and then I'll go into Q&A, because I think it'll bring the most value. I desperately need you guys to leave here understanding how ridiculously lucky we are to be alive during this era. This internet thing is no joke. No joke. And I just, and by the way, for everybody who gets a trillion followers and makes it, and I mean, Justin Bieber, YouTube, like, it's now been a while since this has been happening and working. I think for a lot of this room, you may not go on to be Bieber or build a YouTube channel that makes $80 million selling toys, but the real conversation that isn't being talked about is I do believe almost everybody in this room is uncomfortably capable of producing a $100,000 a year business if they put in a lot of time and a lot of effort and have skill, whether that is through making a channel and having brands subsidize that, or selling stuff, or starting a product. And I hope that everybody who watches this that's not in here, or even the people in here, realize that that's a big statement. That's a lot of money. It just is. And I say it so simply, but it's not simple at all. But the fact that you can, in a way that you never could before, is remarkable. And I think all the people you look up to, or you admire, or you watched build real businesses or real influence on these platforms, they're the preview, not the anomaly. And not everybody's gonna have my natural talent or work ethic or the chips fall the way they did. But I want people to love their game the way I love it, not get the accolades or success that I have, because the happiness is way more fun than the byproduct. And I know a ton of people who are unbelievably happy and make $49,000 a year, and I know an enormous amount of people who are deeply unhappy and sick who make $7 million a year. And something I've been saying a lot, and I want to say more often, there was always that joke that people talked about, like, around always valuing money, and they talked about, I'd rather cry in my Ferrari, right? And that saying always pissed me off, right? This notion that, okay, you're crying, you're deeply unhappy, and the Ferrari versus a Toyota is supposed to be some sort of variable there. It's such insane bad talk. Everybody should aspire to be smiling in their Toyota. If you find out and understand yourself, and you put yourself in the best position, and you happen to have talent, and you put in a ridiculous amount of work, then you might be able to smile in your Ferrari. And that's amazing too. People grossly underestimate the impact of the 3 to 4 people around them. The amount of, again, I love talking to the listeners when I do podcasts. You're sitting there. If you want shit to change, one of the quickest ways to do it is to change the people you're hanging out with. Now, this is a rogue statement. These are boys from around the way. These are people you grew up with. I'm not talking about if you're good, if you're content. I'm talking about if you're miserable. If you're super upset, I think it's a really smart, practical strategy to take a good audit of your 5 or 6 people that are around you. Because my big thing is complaining. I just believe in this shit. I think there's only 2 groups of people that listen to people complain. One, the people that have to. Your mother.
Psychiatrist.
Well, yes, that as well. But like your mom, right? You're like your dad, your brother. And then group number 2, your other loser friends. Like when you're like, oh, the system's fucked. They're like, yeah, the system's fucked. And it's over.
In the NFL, they talk about guys getting small groups, that they're getting fucked by coaches and by front office and stuff like that. And it's a cancer in your locker room.
100%.
And it could be a cancer in people's life, is what you're saying as well.
100%.
It's incredible.